Welcome, friends, it is I, your LostScarf, and it's time for the Short Smite Beginner Guide to Chang'e. That's right, the great dancer is here, and you're going to be over the moon with her after you see this guide, I am sure. As always, this is a beginner guide, so expert and advanced players, there might not be anything helpful to you here, but if you see anything you feel that needs to be elaborated on, please say so in the comments. That way beginners have more things to think about and to just consider what they want to do with Chang'e. As always, this is to help beginners ease into a god, have a better idea how to play that god, so they can play them, master them, maybe even become one of the next pros with a god, who knows, or just be better at it in general in the game. So as always, we're going to go over her abilities, tips and combos, her roles, and purchases to think about, and then wrap it all up. So it's prom night, everybody! Let's get to the dance floor! Chang'e's abilities. First up is her passive, Jade Rabbit. What happens here is she can access the shop from anywhere, and her rabbit will run back to base, buy her a single item, and then bring it back to her, which can be very helpful in letting her stay in lane all game. She also has a passive of, every move she does gives her 25% extra movement speed during the duration of those abilities, so she's able to just dance around her fights. Her first ability is called Crescent Moon Dance. This is just a large arc attack with short cooldown. Her second ability is Moonlight Waltz, and what happens here is she's temporarily invulnerable during her ability, and she gains mana for attacks avoided. Her third ability is Moonflower Dance. Now this is her spinning and doing damage around her. She also heals herself and teammates, and debuffs enemy heals by 50%. And lastly is her ultimate, Waxing Moon. This is a large skill shot that does damage and stuns. Each god that gets stunned gains an extra 1 second stun. The first god gets 1 second, second god gets 2 seconds, and so on. The fifth god gets 5 seconds. This is a huge ult for team fights. It can turn around a fight or create just really bad situations for the enemy team. Class and roles. Chang'e's a mage, which means she has a good amount of burst and some form of CC, which is generally what you see in mages. And she has it with her 1, her 3, and her ultimate. She can do a good amount of damage there. She can burst someone pretty well. She might not always get the kill right away with the burst, but eventually, because of her cooldowns, she'll get it because her abilities come back pretty quickly. She's also not easy to lock down because of her ability to dance out of bad situations, and she has a bunny that allows her to just stick around for a long time. Now when it comes to roles, beginner, solo lane. Chang'e is the queen of the solo lane. Played correctly with good mana management and using the bunny correctly, she can stay in lane forever. She could never leave that lane, and even if she does, you could get teleport to go right back there, and you just don't lose a single minion kill. She is capable of doing that if you play her right. Now there's two ways to go about her, I feel. You can build her safe with stacking items so you have a strong mid to late game, but if you feel you can have an edge against your opponent, you can go for early pen and power and just bully them out of lane. That way they're really far behind in the mid to late game. But that does leave you open to ganks, but she can pull it out pretty well because Chang'e is just capable of just holding a lane forever. Now for advanced, mid's the same thing. The difference between mid and solo though is you don't have that easy mana pool from the blue buff, so you have to worry about that. And of course there's the mid camps you have to keep an eye on. So she can still do some work there, but without the blue buff, she has a little bit harder time there, and she has to manage her mana a lot tighter, but she can pull it off. And of course in team fights you're a big threat because you have this big ult that can stun for up to 5 seconds if you get the entire team, and you can heal your team up pretty well with your 3, so it's not bad to have her around during team fights for sure. Tips and combos. And the first tip has to do with the passive, that is, work that rabbit all game. Just keep working the rabbit with Chang'e because you can access the store from anywhere, which means you can access wards at any time, you can access a potion if you need it, access items you need to build into actives, just whatever you think you'll need within 30 or a minute, you're gonna get it, and that'll be very helpful to you. So just take advantage of your rabbit. Next tip has got to be, all Chang'e's moves give her movement speed buffs, so just keep that in mind, that you'll be able to just dance around as you're fighting somebody, so it's really helpful. Another one to keep in mind is that your crescent does cover the entire minion line, so you can clear the whole thing when you're strong enough later on. Another is, Chang'e is great at baiting out CC and surviving because of waltz, so you want to try to convince your opponent to try to use their CC attack on you. If you can't, just try to get a little bit close, just try to time when you feel they'll do it, and then just dance out of it. Of course, if you feel like you're not good at baiting, then just save your dance for bad situations. Another one is, every time your opponent tries to heal, attempt to debuff them with Moonflower, so you just heal yourself, hurt them with your debuff on them, and then they'll just have a harder time causing some trouble because they're going to have less HP because they couldn't heal as much as they could. Another one to keep in mind is, heal your minions with your 3. It's really good to keep your minion line alive, that way you can push them deeper in, if that's what you want to do. If you don't want to push them in, because it could give you a risk of getting ganked, then don't use it on your minions, of course. Now here's an interesting thing about animations. The time between 3 and 1 is faster than 1 and 3. Just do it in game. Cast your 3, then your 1. You can do it a lot faster than your 1 and 3, so you can do combos a lot faster with 3 and 1 than 1 and 3. And lastly, Waxing Moon wins team fights. Hit as many gods as you can, just look for that angle. hit as many as you can, and then a lot of death is going to come right after. Now, when it comes to combos, there's just one combo. That is 1-3 plus 4 plus 1-3. That is, you hit them with your Moonflower and your Crescent, depending on how close you are, but you want to make sure you use both so you have them on cooldown. Then you ult them so they're stunned and you just beat them up with basic attacks. Then you do your Crescent again, you do Moonflower again, hit them as much as you need to until they're dead. And because of how fast you are, you're able to keep in range pretty well while casting. So you can do a good job there. Now, of course, if they jump away, you can use your ult to catch up to them, depending on what you're fighting. Like, if you're fighting someone with an escape of some kind, you can hit them with 1-3, wait for them to escape, then hit them with the ultimate, catch up, and then beat them up with 1-3 again. That's your option there with her, but really, combo is 1-3, 4, 1-3. Purchases for Chang'e. Now, in my opinion, what you should build on Chang'e depends on what you think you'll be fighting. Now, if you think you're going to have not an easy time in the lane, but you think you'll be able to stick around because Chang'e is good at sticking around, then maybe go for a stack build. That way, it plays a little bit safer, and later on in the game, you'll be really strong. But if you feel like you can bully the lane, and you want to bully the lane, you think you can survive any potential ganks to back you off, then you can build aggressive as well. It's really dependent on how you are comfortable with Chang'e and what you're fighting with what you should build. Do you want to play it safe with stacks? Do you want to play with aggressive with more pen and power? That is up to you, but those are the ways I think you should go about it. Now, Teleport is just a great active on Chang'e because of her ability to just hold a lane forever, and if she gets ganked out of it, then she can just go right back into it, not lose much progress, and then just keep causing trouble. Of course, a good backup is Beads and Aegis. Like, if you get caught in a bad situation, you can go Beads, then do your dance out of it, or you can get Aegis after you dance if you need to stay alive even longer, and that should be really good there. And of course, there's also Blink. A surprise blink of a waxing moon could really destroy a team. There's just a lot of potential with her with actives and with item builds because of what she can do in a team fight and in laning phase. In conclusion, Chang'e is the dancing queen. Thanks to her passive, she's able to just dance circles around her opponents and be really hard to lock down and just keep beating people up. It's just really hard to deal with her. If you learn how to bait out CC and then use your 2 at the right time and landing your ultimate in team fights, your teammates will be over the moon with admiration. You could be a huge threat in the game at all times if you know what you're doing with Chang'e. So that right there is the guide for Chang'e. Good luck with her. I know you'll do well with her because she is a very good safe pick in the solo lane in my opinion. As always, of course, these guides are to help people get comfortable with gods or just play gods they haven't really played before so they can maybe get their roster bigger for them to play, and also so they can share with friends so more people can play Chang'e and understand Chang'e. So there you go right there. That is the guide for Chang'e. You should give it a share, give it a sub, because we do a lot of guides here, and we're just about helping people out with the game. Up next is going to be Kronos, and he's going to be really fun to play. He is just great at wrecking things, wrecking towers, wrecking gods. Time catches up to everybody when you play Kronos. So that is the guide right there. I had fun making it, hopefully you had fun watching it, and that is what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.